So I only do this one time a year, and this is basically something that I incorporated, I think, about 4 years ago. And essentially, what it is an annual personal retreat. And I even brought a manual this time, if you can see, where basically I spend a weekend at the end of the year, typically in nature, all alone by myself with no technology. Obviously, I'm recording this with my phone, but I disconnect by putting airplane mode on, or just completely silencing my phone technology for the entire weekend. And this has been probably one of the most impactful experiences doing this and reflecting, spending time in solitude, spending time in nature, spending time just by myself and thinking, reflecting, thinking of what has happened in the past year and the past few years. And I do that with the help of, luckily, my journals. You can see I have a stack of these. I think there's, I want to say 13 journals to date. But basically, I'll read through all my journals. I will then spend time reflecting, noticing patterns, thinking about different things that have happened in the past years, in the past year. And then I have a lot of prompts that I go through, questions that I go through. In what ways do I feel over this year? Do I feel stuck? What are areas and things I want to improve? What are the goals that I have in each of the categories of lifestyle, health, business, finance, relationships, etc., etc. And what I also do is I also take a macro dose of mushrooms. For those who know anything about mushrooms, a macro dose is 3.5 to 4+ grams, psilocybin mushrooms specifically. And I put on some blindfolds, put on some nice music, and I just basically let the trip unfold. And I have some of the most profound insights and takeaways from doing these trips with this type of set and setting. As you can see, I'm literally in the middle of nature. I'm in a treehouse, actually. This is a really cool spot. I'm in Colombia this year, and in Santa Elena. I usually do this in the States. I have at least the past 3 or 4 times in Michigan, but it's cold during the winter, and I always do it at the end of the year. And so I decided this year I'm gonna do it in Colombia, and I had my journals with me this year. Usually I leave them back in the States, but this year I decided to bring them, and so I did it this year. And honestly, I'm feeling really, really good about everything. I feel like I have the most amount of momentum going into this next year that I have in any other year prior to this. And if you're watching this and you're someone who likes to set goals, improve, you want to have the best life possible, this is a practice that I highly encourage that you incorporate into your annual or yearly routine. It's something that I think I actually originally learned about this through Jim Rohn. And Jim Rohn has different seminars you can watch online. And one of them, he talked about you have to spend time reflecting. Close the door, of the closet, right? And spend a couple hours at the end of the week, maybe half a day at the end of the month, and at the end of the year, spend a weekend. And so I took this literally, started implementing it, and it's been very powerful. You really get to see, first of all, it's just nice to disconnect from nature. Not disconnect from nature, but technology, and connect with nature. Given today that we're constantly on our phones, our technology, we always have emails, messages, phone calls, things to do. It's just one of those things where you can just take a deep breath and let it out, relax, and not have any obligations. That then really sets the setting, essentially, for you then to have this deep experience where you're going inward and you're really reflecting on what's important to you. What do you want to do this upcoming year? And set your goals and really do it in a mindful way. So I recommend it. I'm actually, this is the first time I've ever done this sick. So I'm actually sick. I'm recovered mostly now, not 100%. My voice and congestion still getting there, but This has been the first time I've ever done this sick, and so I actually had a lot of time just resting, which was nice. And yeah, and that's pretty much it. I just wanted to share this video, share a little piece of my life. This is actually the first and only time I have ever shared me at my annual retreat, because the annual retreat is just me. Nobody else comes with me. No one else sees what I do, including like on video. So anyways, I just wanted to record this. It was really just off the cuff. Kind of feel like I'm rambling at this point, but for those who are doing or want to do a retreat, what I encourage you to do to make this as impactful as possible is, number one, make sure you're off grid, make sure you're somewhere in nature, away from mostly people, and you completely disconnect technology wise. I think that's the most important thing. If you just do that and you go to a place for 3 nights, you're going to have a profound experience. From that, I highly encourage you prepping. And so the way to prep is obviously let people know that you're going to be offline, make sure you take care of business, and just set aside all that stuff that you need to handle so that you're not worried about anything while you're gone. Also, spend some time asking yourself questions about what is your intention? What do you hope to get out of this retreat, right? Plan your arrival, pack your food, and all of that sort of thing. Just make sure you're prepped well. The other thing you're going to want to do that I found is very powerful is, if you have journals, bring your journals. Pretty obvious, but bring your journals. So you can see I have all mine here, and just spend time reading through them. You don't have to, like, once you get to this many, I don't know, this is a lot of journals, and I've only been journaling for 4 years. And so, I can't read every single page in 3 days. But what I can do is I can read the first journals I had, the most recent ones, and skim through all the other ones. And I usually spend about 8 hours or so doing that. And that's just profound, because it takes all that time you have and it helps you notice patterns, helps you notice things that might be reoccurring. And you can then identify those and really make decisions to change if you want to or not, or whatever it may be. But it's really good for reflecting. So the journals is a big part of these retreats. The other thing is bringing stuff to write. I also highly encourage bringing a book or 2 books. This time, in the past, I've brought in like 5 books, and it's just too much. But this time I brought Self-Reliance and other essays. This is a great read. I'm still currently reading it, actually. And I also brought Michael Singer, Untethered Soul. So kind of more of like spiritual, it's not really like business scaling type books. I've actually read The Untethered Soul already, but it's a great book that you can just reread. Other books like The Power of Now, things like that, can be great books to spend to reflect. Seasons of Life by Jim Rohn is also a great one. The 12 Pillars by Jim Rohn. Anyways, bring a book or books. Don't go overboard with that. But journals, books, and disconnecting to nature, that is going to have a profound experience. And if you want, you can even create a manual, which I did. And I actually used AI to do this year. This is my first time I've done this. Basically, it just takes me through like a bunch of questions and prompts, and I use some personalized beliefs, blocks that I might have, identity shifts, things like that really help me question and go deep in those areas. So that's another thing you can do. And then finally, if you're someone who wants to go all the way and you like to take it to the next level, I highly recommend doing mushrooms. And the reason why is because when you're in this type of setting where you're going into nature, you're disconnecting, and then you're being reflective and planning and really going inward and surrendering to whatever comes, the mushrooms can have a profound effect. And obviously I don't recommend this for anyone who's like first time, although you can do it if you want to, then by all means go for it. But for those who have at least done it once or twice before, doing this by yourself is really, really impactful, and making sure that you do it the right way, which is basically, my recommendation, all of the professional recommendations, are to lay down, have a eye mask, and to listen to music. And there's a lot of different music that you can find. But I use this eye mask, Joe Dispenza, Sources Within You. And I just listen to a tape of different music designed for psychedelic trips or psilocybin trips specifically. And I just go internal. And I've had some of the most profound experiences, from pure laughter and joy to crying, bawling my eyes out, to profound mystical experiences. And this has all happened in one trip. So it's been, different roller coaster experiences. But what tends to happen is whatever I need in that time, in that phase, in that moment in my life, it is then given to me. And then the integration process, you can then have another day or two at your retreat to really integrate and then implement those once you get back into your day-to-day life. So that is my retreat, personal, annual, whatever you want to call it. And I would love to hear your guys' thoughts. If you guys do anything like this, if you have any recommendations. Again, this is my 4th year doing this, so I've done this every year for 4 years in a row. I believe it's been 4 years or 5 years, but it's definitely been 4. I think it's been 4 years. So I'd love to hear your guys' advice, tips, how I can make this better. Usually I'll spend 3 nights. I think next year I'm going to do 4 nights, just because with a mushroom trip, of really having like 1 day dedicated to that, 1 day for arrival, 1 day for departure, 1 whole day for integration, and a whole day prior for the prep and reading journals and planning and all of that stuff. I think that 4 nights is enough. 3 nights is also good, but I think 4 nights for mushrooms included is probably better, or more if you want to do more. Anyways, that's it for this. Again, this is just a complete uncut video, and just absolutely no script. I just figured I'd pull out my phone and record this. So anyways, I hope someone out there found this useful, and I would love to hear your thoughts. If you do this yourself, if you're planning to do this, let me know how it goes. And I hope everyone has an amazing New Year's and crushes their goals and vision for 2026.